All right, so I was doing a bunch of grinding of Turtle Pack over the weekend because I was upstate with family. I didn't have a ton to do in the intermediate time. So what better to do than to try and finish out all of the achievements for Turtle Pack, which have been out for like, what, 3-4 years or something at this point? How old is this game? Surely I'll edit something in for that. Anyways, take that, Poopa Scoopa. And so I had this one really, really cool game where I got the Squirrel achievement that I wanted to share. I've also noticed that a lot of my early games tend to start with Horse. I think Horse is probably my favorite tier 1 after playing a lot of Turtle Pack. It just gives you so much flexibility to constantly pivot in and out units. There definitely is a cost to it, because you have the potential to really giga stack some units to get those big tier 1s or tier 2s going. But it is nice to feel like you can constantly cycle your board without too much of a cost to it. Like a 4-3 at this point in the game. Oh my god, he's big. I don't know what I'm specifically looking for here. I think I was just looking for something that was good enough as a tier 2 to set me up for the future. So I think I was hoping for a swan over a worm. You passed up an earlier worm. But I felt like the team was good enough to probably get a win just off of raw stats. But here's where I rip the level up now that I've decided that I'm settling for a worm. I imagine I pull in the Ox because the Ox, yep, with all of the temp attack from the Horse, makes it into an actually good unit. And then Kangaroo just fits really well with the Ox. Ox is basically a guaranteed 2 triggers, potentially more. At 6 HP, it's probably more. So it makes the Kangaroo extra good. And that's a little bit spooky. So we don't get the possibly more amount of triggers. We actually lose that. If we swap the Horse positioning, we would have won. But how am I supposed to know that? So already down to 3 lives. This is not great by any stretch. This is not where I'd want to be. But I see that we have the worm. We have a squirrel in the shop. I haven't bought any apples yet, but I could just start saving these apples and not really caring about it. And we get Alpha the Horse because at this point, I don't really want to pivot that hard. And I just buy the apple. I just buy the apple instead of rolling twice to look for a better food item to freeze. My god, he doesn't even know how to squirrel game. But a win's a win, baby. I think maybe the rationale behind that is just I didn't want to unnecessarily bleed any lives at that point. We're getting closer to that level 2 worm that suddenly makes worm feel like a real unit instead of just a fraud. Freeze 1 garlic makes sense. No need to freeze 2 garlics because we already have melon on the Ox. And honestly, if we don't find the other Kangaroo, we can just sell out of them at any point. They're fine for now, but they're not permanent by any stretch. Goodbye, AutoZone. You will be missed. So I guess I just pull on the crocodile to try and stay alive, try and keep some tempo here. I'm surprised I didn't save the apple there, because a 2-cost apple is probably the best thing that I could discount in the shop at that point. But we're also going into turn 8, which doesn't unlock anything new. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an explanation. Don't look at me. Don't have expectations of me. Do I immediately sell out of this crocodile that I bought? I feel like I immediately sell out of this crocodile. No, I sell out of the Ox. Yeah, that makes sense, honestly, because the ox is a good unit because he has melon armor. So instead, I could just have a worm that has melon armor instead. We find 2 good foods to freeze. I'm a big fan. I'm assuming we pull in the separate squirrel, and then we get 3 really cheap foods next turn. That's honestly awesome. Big fan, big fan. Ooh, I don't know if we make it through this, though. No, we do, we do. I was concerned that we weren't going to be able to beat the hippo there. And that was just going to wipe our kangaroo. Yeah, continuing to stat the worm here, trying to keep it on pace. I could have potentially sold the crocodile there, but the crocodile is just a fairly big unit. And we know that we want to keep the squirrel because I haven't gotten the achievement for it, so we freeze him. Could have taken the monkey for a turn there in place of the cow, but I honestly really like keeping the cow just for the 4-6 base stats and the potential for more milk. Because a monkey at 1-2 is very liable to lose you around, whereas a cow can be the difference maker. Like, if we had that 1-2 in the back, we lose that round. We lose that round very convincingly. So I do like to just keep onboard cow quite a bit. And we immediately get rid of that kangaroo for the cat. I think I spent a little bit longer thinking about that in actuality, but... And everything dodges the crocodile. Very nice. And the chocolate getting discounted is going to be so good, too. Oh my god, it's going to be so good. Oh, there's no shot we make it through this team, right? Oh yeah, there's no way. We had 1 more attack on our guy. No. No, if we have 1 more attack on our guy, we still don't make it through. Goodbye, crocodile. Yeah, so this is really just a high roll on food, just in general. Now, do I... Okay, I do not give that to the squirrel. So one thing that I need to be cognizant of is that the squirrel has lower attack than the worm. Because I want the worm to spawn its food item first, and then the squirrel to discount the shop. So right now we're risking it, which I don't love. And we had bad order there. But I'm still gonna buy the foods because the foods are pretty good. And I put it onto the squirrel. I think I didn't realize at this point the error of my ways. And now I start putting a lot of stat food onto the worm to try to let it catch up. Because I realized, oh, I screwed up. And so now the worm is going to get to go first here. And so we'll get our discounted food. But yeah, we just hit chocolate, we hit melons. We're hitting all of the good things that we could want in the shop. If it's not stat food, it's equipment. And we're honestly using all of our cat triggers, so it's not even bad. We hit another melon in the shop. And we could potentially legitimately take the can here. It's not actually that unreasonable since we could just slot in another unit. So that would have been +3/+3 on the snake that we're bringing in. Which is not bad. And so now we've got more melon, another chocolate. Ooh, it's a good shop, man. It's a good shop. And we're going to be getting a +6/+6 apple, which is cracked. So we're really staying on pace for stats. And it's so cheap. Level 3 squirrel feels so good. And for some reason, I buy the apple before leveling the... Yeah, don't ask too many questions. Don't ask too many questions. freeze the apple just so I can have a stat food to use. Sure. Reasonable enough. We get the worm to be higher stats again. And now our team looks very jank, and I think we definitely lose to this. Yeah. Because while we can beat the rhino, we needed to have both of our big units up front there, instead of just one of them. And we have all melons, and I think we paid a total of 3 gold for all of the melons on our team. That is absolutely absurd. So good, man. So good. We're not even really that statted for turn 15 by any measure. We've been very passive with actually getting said stats online, but we're still plenty fine. We have good in-battle abilities with the snake and tiger, and we're getting a lot of scaling. Like, that's nothing to scoff at. And we hadn't spent a single dime at that point, and we got how many stats? We got how many stats? Ah. Dude, Squirrel is either the most useless feeling unit or one of the most satisfying units. Because that stat food, that equipment, it can be so game-changing, and the fact that it is completely free is absolutely absurd. Thank you, Snake, for the huge assist there. Plus 12, plus 12? Plus 14, plus 14 without spending any money. That's good trade offer. Good deal, buddy. Good deal. We've got even more of those queued up. We can just spend all of our money on digging for levels, and while we're digging for those levels, we're just freezing good foods for next turn. Like, Squirrel is so good if you're using it like that, and you're actually finding 2 things in the shop. Honestly, Squirrel reminds me a lot of how Fox seems like it should play, which I have not really played with Fox, so I should do that at some point. And that was a draw against a million hurt triggers. But most of our team's really low stats, so I'm not too surprised. Why am I... I guess there's no real reason not to take it, right? Because what I really want is a level on the tiger. I probably should have just rolled 3 more times looking for the tiger level there. And another crab team, again. Hello. And that's how you use a squirrel successfully. Dude, man, he's just such a cool little guy.